Quick disclaimer, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here should be considered financial advice. Always do your own research and understand the risks before investing.
Welcome back everyone to another Bitcoin update. So here we are, same old sideways action. We did have that break above the trend line, but now we fell below it and we went to retest it again, and it seems like we have a rejection at this point. So far we are still within this range. Nothing has happened, and I can see why a lot of people would be frustrated just because not much has happened. Yeah, we do have these pumps and some dumps as well, but if you really zoom out, it's just one giant range that we are still in. So the important thing, like we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks, is what are we looking for to indicate whether we will be in this white A wave or whether we are in this orange fifth wave to the downside. So here is our indicators that we need to look for, just because we are still ranging. One is we need to see clear five wave move up. We've only seen 3-wave movements, and then we've seen rejections, and then we've seen 3-wave movements to the downside, and then a 3-wave move back up. So there's really no clear trend that we are in. We're just kind of in the middle ranging. And now after this sell-off that we have now entered back into this range. It could have been a possible promising moment over here. Maybe if we went to retest the bottom of this trend line and then bounced off of it, but we fell back below. And honestly, if you really wanted to, we could just do something like that for the trend line to switch it up, but I could see some people doing that as well, but we will kind of keep it how it is. But it wouldn't surprise me if we could do something like that, and then maybe we go back up to this area around 70,000 and then we get rejected at that new trend line. So that's a possibility with that as well, but I'll kind of put it back to its normal place. So our first indication for this white A wave is a break above this trend line again, which right now would be around the 69,000 level. Then we need a break above this swing high here at 70,000, and then another at this one over here, which is at the 71,000, and then our final one at 72,000. Once we start breaking above these swing highs, then it will just become more and more favorable and probable that we are in this white A wave to the upside, and all this was just a B, C to the upside, where this right now could be a 1 2 1 2 1 2 setup, a lot of 1-2s, but overall it could just be a 1-2 setup, and then for this third wave it could be a 1 2 3 4 5 wave move up, 3-wave move down in that fourth wave, and then a 5-wave move up in that fifth wave, all in that C wave, just because C waves are typically a 5-wave move up. So this could be a 1 2 3 4 5-wave move up, just like that for that C wave. And for this orange fifth wave is we first need a break below this swing low at 63,000. That would be our first indication. Another for this one at 62,500, and our final indication obviously would be a break below this 60,000. Now we could always fall below this level at 62,500, and we could just be going for a extended B wave. We won't really get 100% confirmation until we of course break below this swing low at 60,000. Unless we see a 5-wave move down and a 1 2 3 4 5-wave move up, or move down, and then a 3-wave move up, and then that could create a larger 1-2 setup where we could get a third wave to the downside, fourth wave, and a fifth wave, all in that orange fifth wave. So that's totally possible to see as well. All of this could also be a larger 1-2 setup, and then we could get that rejection in that third wave. So we kind of just have to let time do its thing. Let's look for swing highs, swing lows, and trend lines, and just have to be patient. I know we've been patient since February 5th, since we started this range, and that's kind of what we have to be. Right now the market is undecided. Buyers and sellers are kind of just waiting whether we will go higher or go lower. And as of right now, this is just a range that we are having. I'll go to something more specific of what this could be similar to. And this does look pretty similar to what we had back here. Obviously, back in November to January, we had a similar move like this before we got rejected and headed lower. And that could actually be comparable to this move that we had within this area. And something interesting is after we had that move, we had that sell-off, and then we kind of had this consolidation sideways from the 10th of May to the 7th of June. So that was about a month long that happened as well before we got rejected and headed lower. And like we've been saying, we're expecting a rally of some sort, even though it will most likely be a corrective rally. But the rally, for whether we get the low right now or whether it is still coming, we should still get a considerable nice rally as well. And if you kind of compare it to this move right here was about a 22% move. And once we got rejected, then we had this larger rally from the low, which was around 41%. So it wouldn't be too unusual to see that happen for Bitcoin. So far, we have had about a 20% move from this low to the high up here, which is about 19% right now. And if we actually did head lower to that 55 to 57,000 range that we were talking about, obviously once we get confirmation of that, we'll have levels that we can look for. But if we kind of go to that, if we take 55,000 for example, and we put it to that 40%, that would put us around this 79,000 level, which would actually work very well with some of the liquidation or the liquidity for the shorts. And it would put us within that, I mean, barely, but it would still put us within this range that we were talking about as well. So maybe we do something similar to that, because it does look very similar to that move back there where we had that sell-off, we go sideways for about a month, we get another low, and then we have that choppy corrective 40% move, and then we could get rejected and head lower in that final C wave. So I just wanted to point that out just because it just looks so similar to what has happened back here. So if we do get that sell-off, if we kind of keep going sideways and we get that sell-off soon in March, or possibly sooner or later, obviously none of it's guaranteed. It's just kind of speculating that this is pretty similar to what is happening back here. So if we see something like that, then it wouldn't be surprising, just because we see a very similar move to how it happened in the last cycle as well. Obviously it doesn't need to repeat, but just think that it would be pretty interesting to see that this move over here looks very similar to what could be playing out over here. And if that were to happen, that wouldn't be surprising at all. But obviously it does not need to happen the exact same way. We could in fact be in that larger rally right now for the 40%, and we could get to the, if we go to 45% here around the 88,000 level. Again, it does not need to be a 45% rally. We will add our resistance zone for that. We could barely touch this swing high or swing low over here and then get rejected. I'm just kind of naming that 45% or that 40% move just because that was about what we had over here. Just speculating, if we were to get something similar to that, what would be a price range for that? But obviously that is not guaranteed to happen at all. But obviously, like I said, we could get that larger move right now, get to that 80,000 level, and then get rejected. Or we could get that one more low and then get that choppy corrective move up and then head lower as well. So just wanted to point that out as well. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for the video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.